Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca. It's great to be able to join you all today in this discussion about digitalisation in open-air museums. I am one half of the two-woman team that runs Heterotopia. We're a creative research studio based in Athens, and we work together with museums and heritage organisations to explore the use of theatre and performance in public programming, research and interpretation. My colleague, Dr. Foteini Venieri, is a specialist in the field of museum theatre. I'll come back to that term in just a moment. And I'm a producer and programme manager specialising in arts and heritage education. This is a little screen grab from our website. Both of us started out making on-site analogue programming in heritage sites and spaces. So, plays, talks, tours, workshops and games, etc., all using theatre and drama in some way. But more recently, though, our focus has really shifted to the new digital modes and media that are available and how to bring the methodology of museum theatre into the design, the delivery and the evaluation of digitally mediated and virtual heritage learning experiences. Now, I'm going to share some of our experiences from the past year with you today, and I hope to make some connections to the bigger picture, to the wider trends and the changes that we're all seeing across the field. But first, just time for a quick definition to make sure that we are all on the same page. When Foteini and I use the term museum theatre, we're referring to a whole range of approaches that integrate an element of performance, performativity, into the interpretation and presentation of heritage. So this includes first-person and costumed interpretation, reenactment, storytelling, and living history. But the term can also refer to the use of other areas of performing arts practice, such as physical theatre or object theatre, and the incorporation of music, dance, etc. As museum theatre is both a theatrical genre and a way to communicate academic research, it also falls into the categories of applied theatre and public history. And we use the term first-person narratives to refer to approaches, museum theatre being just one possible approach, approaches that present history in the first person or from a subjective point of view. Now, for many open-air museums, the use of performance in person-led or live interpretation is nothing new. Open-air museums are the birthplace of museum theatre, where it was first introduced as a learning medium in the late 19th and early 20th century. And there's a strong body of research literature now attesting to the unique value of this kind of experiential, interactive approach. We know that it enriches museum learning and that it fosters deeper, more nuanced connections to the past. We know that as a mode of person-led heritage interpretation, museum theatre is incredibly versatile. Done well, it enables really meaningful, personalised experiences that can be refined on the spot in direct response to the audience. And museum theatre draws on the conventions and the languages of performance, play and make-believe. And in this, it has proven to be particularly effective as a tool for exploring and interrogating behaviours, attitudes and prejudices of the past. Back to digitalisation. The digital revolution has enabled many museums to create dynamic online programs that are accessible worldwide. The creation of online and virtual learning resources accelerated during COVID-19, and there is now a huge variety available, especially geared towards schools. Although these are usually asynchronous, self-guided resources, there are plenty of examples of bookable, person-led, real-time virtual field trips and workshops. And to support museums to make the shift to this kind of programming, ICOM's Belgium National Committee and its Committee for Education and Cultural Action have created a toolkit for virtual museum mediation. It addresses different types of engagement approach and suggests processes, platforms and tools that can be used to develop and deliver new programs. Now, it doesn't address the use of theatre and performance, but we recommend this toolkit to anyone wanting to launch or expand their person-led virtual remote learning offer, especially school field trips and workshops. Now, where does theatre fit in? Well, online museum theatre, like its physical counterpart, features performers who embody historical personas to guide virtual tours, deliver interpretive content, or lead the audience in a playful kind of semi-fictional scenario. These performance-based encounters often incorporate primary materials, such as images, documents, music, printouts, and sometimes also loan box items. And they can take place in museum galleries and heritage sites or specially designed digital settings, and they rely on video conferencing technology. Here on the slide are a few really good examples of programs that have been running successfully for quite a while now, and I encourage you to check them out. From our perspective, we had already been exploring some new digital formats, but live field trips represented quite new and exciting territory for us. So earlier this year, with funding from Histolab, which is an initiative of the European Commission and the Council of Europe's Observatory on History Teaching in Europe, my colleague, Foteini, undertook some research to assess the value of museum theatre in this context, in the context of virtual field trips and as a component of classroom history teaching. Now, first of all, she discovered that teachers really appreciate museum learning resources in general, and that live synchronous encounters, interactive encounters, really motivate students. Foteini's research, which will be published soon by Histolab, highlighted that museum theatre in this context enriches classroom learning because it brings students into contact with heritage collections and settings through role play, through on-the-spot discussion and active problem solving. So it seems that the light touch, theatrical make-believe element and the first-person narrative approach really make a difference. Meanwhile, back in Athens and in connection with this work, we had launched 2 online learning programs of our own. The 2 case study programs that I'm going to quickly present to you now both took the form of real-time virtual field trips delivered to primary and secondary schools in remote parts of Greece. The school pupils were in their classrooms with their teachers, experiencing these performer-led workshop tours thanks to a specially adapted video conferencing app and booking platform called Museotech. Our performer facilitators were based in the museum space itself, using the same app set up on a regular phone and held in a gimbal device, as you can see there in the photos. Some schools were lucky enough to have smart boards, but for the most part we relied on the teacher's laptop and the classroom projector. In both cases, the workshop tour lasted around 45 to 60 minutes so that it could fit within an academic hour. And in advance of the session, the teachers received a welcome pack with full technical instructions, printouts, information about curriculum links, and suggestions for follow-up activities. The design and implementation of this first museum theatre programme was the result of a partnership between us, the Museotech company, and the Cultural Foundation of the National Bank of Greece, or MIET as it is known here. Now, MIET take care of a whole host of collections and archives, one of which is the Paxinouminoutis Museum, which cares for and presents the personal archive of the celebrated Greek stage and screen actress Katina Paxinou, and that of her equally renowned husband and creative partner Alexis Minotis. The Paxinouminoutis Museum is set within a small, early 20th century domestic interior, and it's usually only available to visit on appointment. The archive documents particularly well the media attention that Katina Paxinou generated during the wartime period. It charts her attempts to escape Europe, her safe arrival in the USA, her Oscar for the role of Pilar in For Whom the Bell Tolls, her husband's escape from a concentration camp and his own journey to America, and then her activism on behalf of the Greek war relief effort. Our online museum theatre programme highlights the ways in which Paxinou's story was reported in the international press, how she was presented as a war refugee, as a theatre and movie star, and then as a representative of a major aid campaign. Before the day itself, students watch a series of 3 short video clips which introduce our fictional character, Sophia Antoniou. Sophia sets the scene for their encounter, telling them that it's 1950, that Katina Paxinou has just returned to Greece from the USA, and that she, a news reporter and huge Paxinou fan, has been tasked with conducting the first interview. In the live workshop itself, students are welcomed to the Paxinouminoutis Museum via the Museotech virtual learning platform by our workshop facilitator before they then meet Sophia in person. Using mini archives that their teachers have printed out for them, a mixture of press cuttings, photos, correspondence, campaign material, etc., they set about helping Sophia to prepare her interview, filling in the gaps in her knowledge through their own research. So the program is an introduction to archives and archival research, and its themes present great opportunities for modern-day comparison and critique of discourses and attitudes concerning celebrity, women, the notion of heroism, etc. This next museum theatre programme was commissioned by the Museum of Greek Folk Musical Instruments and the Phivos Anoyanakis Centre of Ethnomusicology. It was designed and delivered by us and the museum in partnership with Museotech, and it was a spin-off actually from an on-site cultural programme that was presented as part of the 2023 European Heritage Days. That original programme, which took place at the museum in Athens, combined a live tour, talks, performances and presentations all dedicated to Greek Roman musicians and their contribution to traditional Greek music. Now, Romani culture doesn't really feature in the national curriculum, so the museum wanted to create a virtual museum learning programme that could introduce the topic to primary and secondary schools, especially in areas of Greece where there are established Roma communities. In the space of 60 minutes, it transports learners way back to 1991, when the Museum of Greek Folk Musical Instruments had just opened its doors. Our protagonist, Kostis, is a friend and former student of the famous Roma musician Vangelis Soukas. Kostis wants to see how Soukas's legacy and Romani musical heritage more broadly has been put on display in this new national museum. So, armed with a cassette player and a mixtape, Kostis guides the students around the museum as he searches for traces of his friend and tutor. He tells the story of Vangelis' childhood in the countryside, his journey to Athens, his rise to success, and his ventures in America. He talks about the challenges he faced during his career and the loneliness he encountered abroad. Throughout the tour, Kostis sparks a lively dialogue, and he asks the students to fill in the gaps in his knowledge with their own perspectives on identity and culture. The students are invited to express themselves creatively through music and song as they help Kostis to find his way, and they do. Each session is different, and the interaction between the students and our brilliant performer is really quite remarkable. And we're very proud to say that this programme has won a Best Practice Award from the ICON Committee for Education and Cultural Action. Overall, we're really quite pleased with this work. Both projects demonstrated promising outcomes in terms of learning effectiveness. Survey data indicated that the integration of primary materials and authentic museum spaces motivated students to engage with the content provided. Students and teachers really appreciated the playful use of theatre to imagine a time travel type encounter, and the use of skilled performer facilitators and an overarching fictional framework created a fun and relaxed environment for interaction. Teachers reported that students were keen to relate what they saw and heard to their own experiences and concerns. And I think crucially, both projects enabled the museums to reach school groups that would never otherwise visit the museum. We've learnt a lot over the past year through these two projects and through the research that Foteini undertook with Histolab. I'm sharing here just a little snapshot really of where our heads are at now regarding the next research that we're planning. And I think it's worth saying, and I will end on this point, that one of the things that really stood out and which always stands out is the importance of partnerships. Our museum partners have been really proactive in reaching out to the creative industries and tech sectors in order to offer new types of programming that will increase access to their collections. It's not always easy to make the case for this sort of work internally within an organisation, but they have. Museotech is an edtech company that have designed their platform, their software and all their support services through collaboration with museums and schools, and by taking a chance on developing new ideas and formats like the ones I've shared today. And Heterotopia too. I mean, we're just two people, so each one of our projects brings together a team of artists, creatives, techies, educators, and that's in addition to the museums, archives and heritage sites that we design our projects and funding applications with. So there are these little cross-sector ecosystems of skills and expertise that really make this sort of stuff happen. And I think ultimately the better we understand those systems, the better we can sustain them. So I will end there. Thank you so much for listening. Do please visit our website and drop us a line if you'd like to chat more, especially if you're working on similar topics to us. We're really keen to connect. Thank you all.